Welcome, my friends. Welcome back to another day here at the Den. And today we are talking about flying hunters. I've heard a lot of talk from people who like to fly hunters, like myself, and talking with them about things that I think are important, and then talking with people who don't like to fly hunters and who are trying to figure out maybe what they're missing, what tips or tricks that they can apply to thinking about flying hunters. I will say all hunters take some practice. I feel like there is no hunter that you are going to just be able to pick up and fly right off the bat. But with a couple of practice and I think a few pretty simple tricks to think about as you're flying, and even as you're planning out your run against a base, I think that they can go a long way to helping you be better with hunters. And so we're gonna actually talk about 4 specific hunters today. We're gonna talk about Ronin. We're gonna talk about Loken. We're going to talk about Axii, and we're going to talk about Pathox. And all of these 4 dragons do this same concept in the same way. And what is that concept? The concept is flying slowly. So when I talk about flying slowly, what do I mean? I mean that as I'm looking to plan out a run, I'm looking at the places where I can either take damage or cloak to avoid damage, or use a disable spell to keep towers from firing at me, and during that time either regain rage and or regain hunter ammo, sometimes both, and rage, hunter ammo, and even possibly wait for a spell to finish cooling down. So those concepts are concepts that I'm thinking about and referring to when I talk about flying slowly. So what we're going to do first is we're going to fly with Loken. Loken is a hunter. He's an obsidian hunter, and he's not bad. He has 3 spells: cloak, 4 spells, I'm sorry. Cloak, Galvanic Overload, Healing Mark, and Adaptive Resist. Now, we're not going to fly this on a real base. He probably would die. But we are going to fly him on an Atlas base. I'm going to show how this concept can apply to Atlas bases, and probably is the first place to start practicing it. So let's hop into Atlas here. All right, and we're going to just go on an invader base. Nothing complex, nothing complicated here. This is my invader base. It's at 307. You'll see that Loken does a lot of damage against these towers. He is leveled up just a bit past breeding, and he should be doing close to about 2 taps, so about equal level damage for the towers. We'll go ahead and even unboost him just to kind of give this concept, and we're gonna use Healing Mark, Cloak, and a little bit of Galvanic Overload to show this flying slowly concept to, at different points, avoid taking any damage and either recharge hunter ammo, recharge rage with Loken. So we're going to start off just taking down these 3 towers, and removing the boost. He actually takes 4 taps to get those towers down. We don't need anything special though on those first towers, and you see here I'm running out of hunter ammo, and there's no way that I'm going to be able to take down that trebuchet with the ammo that I have currently. So I cloak, give myself time to recharge that hunter ammo, and drop a healing mark on it and get that off. So we'll do the same here. Use Galvanic Overload on that lightning tower. And so far we're okay on this base. This long is the one that always gets a little bit squirrely. We're going to drop Healing Mark, use Galvanic Overload there, get as much as we can out of hunter ammo. Now we're going to cloak again and just kind of wait. We sit here, we wait for our hunter ammo to recharge, give rage chance to recharge as well. 3 tap down those towers, use Galvanic to finish off that cannon. Again, just really trying to give ourselves a chance to build back up our rage, to build back up our hunter ammo, and allow us to do the damage that we need to do. Alright, and as we come here on the final island, it'll pretty much be that same pattern. Knock them all down, use Galvanic Overload. We're going to cloak to avoid taking any of that damage from this last island before we need it to. And there we go. We've beaten the base. It's a base that Loken should beat, honestly, but if you are not careful, you could easily get into trouble because you'd run out of rage and just are having to sit there taking damage while your hunter ammo refills, or while you are trying to wait for rage to refill. So that's kind of the first easy mode concept. The first place to practice really is with hunters on invader bases. Learn to fly slow, especially as they're babies, and you're trying to think about, okay, how am I going to fly strategically to avoid taking damage and or build my rage back up while I can waiting to finish off this specific island. Okay, so we're back in main game. We're going to look for some regular bases now. We're going to start off flying Axii. Alright, so Axii is, at this point, she's kind of a background dragon for me. You can see her attack power is at 70 million right now. Very, very low. She has no rider on her. She's very, very low runes. This is a dragon that unfortunately I've had to bench at this point, which it was a sad day. But we're going to try and find something comparable to her level. I would say something around the tower level 40 or so would probably be a fair... And you know what? This is not bad. This is kind of an interesting base for Axii, and I almost want to try it. We might end up failing, which is fine, but the concepts remain the same even if we fail or not. And you got to kind of push yourself. You'll never have to use these concepts if you're always attacking way below yourself. But making so practicing by attacking some bases that are a little bit bigger will definitely force you to use these. So let's go in here with Axii. Let's see if we get defenders. If we get defenders, it's probably all over. We do not. So I start off with Rainbow Shot, going to avoid taking anything from those mages. And we're going to come around, we're going to prepare Rainbow Shot, cast it, and the storm goes off. We're going to recast Rainbow Shot. And so at this point, there we go. So it's very much, that was definitely a big base for Axii. Rainbow Shot doing like smidges of health is not a big deal, or is not a big help, but you kind of get the point there where I'm trying to balance using elemental resists. I'm sorry, not elemental resist, her elemental bubble, and Rainbow Shot, making sure I can use Rainbow Shot more often. Let's go with a little bit lower of a base. Maybe I can show this off a little bit better, and we can talk about it a little bit more. So let's see here. That's 60 million. Let's keep going. 1.23 million, or 123 million. How's that for a number? You know what? Let's try this. It's 220. The 56s are a big deal, but there's going to be some things around it, some ways around it. Let's go in. This isn't the strongest base, but it's something that we could possibly show this off with. All right. So, as I'm thinking about it, we're going to want to use Elemental Bubble where we can to both slow us down, get back some rage, and take advantage where we can of both the healing of Elemental Bubble as well as the stopping incoming damage. So you saw me be able to take out most things. Again, these level 56 towers are pretty hefty and just not something we have a lot we can do against. However, we're almost able to set up this base because we can get off the elemental bubble and things like that to at least mitigate the incoming damage, right? So I've basically neutered the first kill island and the second. If someone were backing me, they'd be able to easily come in and clean up what the rest of this base is, because I've taken out kind of the biggest problems. The only thing that would have maybe been better about that would be taking out the Dark Flax. So again, low Axii, right? 70 million, going double her attack power. Nonetheless, she can still do a lot of damage, and it's a little hard when I'm trying to like readjust for what the levels would be for this dragon, just because for low dragons like this, just because remembering like, okay, this is about right, is always a little challenging. But we're gonna go in with another dragon now. This time we're gonna go in with Pathox, and so Pathox is much stronger for me. We're gonna go in with looking for kind of level 60s or so. This 1.3 billion, this is actually a pretty solid base to do it to try against, to go against. Pathox is at 2 billion. There's some stats there that are not applicable to him. There's others that are, but we'll go in and kind of try and show this off. Let's leave all that. So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to come around. I'm trying to freeze the towers, cloak to avoid taking any damage. Oh, no perch there. Cloak to avoid taking any damage, and as well as refilling my rage. Pathox has the advantage of being able to cast chill while he is cloaked, so we want to use that to our advantage here. All right, as we come around on the, let's see, there is no rage drain actually, so we don't have to worry about the possibility of being rage drained. If there was a rage drain island, we would deal with that between chill and spectral form. So here we go. I'm gonna cast the first chill and shoot out a whole bunch. Get Death's Door on these towers, and we actually kind of wasted a second as I was talking there. But here we go. Here's an example of kind of me waiting and letting myself get some rage back, get hunter ammo back as I use that perch that's not doing a lot of damage to me to buy me time, essentially. All right, and we can be pretty quick back here, except these farms are a little bit hefty, so we're going to do this, get this one down as far as we can. I don't want to use Death Gaze just because for the example of this video. Again, we're using Spectral Form here to slow us down. That's because Spectral Form is actually a spell that does slow down. If you were using Cloak or something like that, you would want to... Cloak actually speeds you up a little bit, so you wouldn't want to use Cloak in that instance to possibly kill... possibly use it to actually kill a tower. But specifically for Pathox, it works because it slows you down. So knowing the differences between the spells, what the spells are doing specifically for your dragon, things it relies on, are really important. All right, our last attack we are going to do with Ronan. So Ronan, I recently did a video on Ronan talking about how to fly him and some things that I think about. This was something that I mentioned in that video because I do think it is really important, and I think it can really change how a flight goes for you. This is a long base. I will say, flying slowly works much better on long bases than, like, you have a lot more options to where you're either choosing to take damage from something or choosing to use damage immunity from something, or choosing to entrap something far out. All these things keep you flying slowly rather than just like trying to kill everything and ending up racing down the island and coming around to the next island out of rage, out of ammo. So, and actually, let's show that at some point. We'll do that in the next video. We'll show this concept of killing everything but flying really quickly and possibly getting yourself into trouble. But for now, we're gonna fly slowly on this base. The 60s are a big deal. We have to actually like really pay attention to those. And it starts off with a dark flak and a fire flak, so I can't really alter my immunity there. I need to use entrap. Alright, so let's get rid of this front part. Most of these are low level towers, so it's not a huge deal. Alright, throw that away. Let's get dark flak immunity up. Get execute. Alright, and we took a big hit there. And so this is a perfect example. We took a big hit there. It was painful. It was basically from the fire flak hitting us, and then from the ice as well. However, because we entrapped the blue, which is a disabling spell, because we entrapped the blue, we were able to use our heal spell, get back the health we needed, and we're able to kind of pause, reset, wait for our ammo to reset, wait for our spells to reset, and then come back at the base full steam. This was actually a great example, and not one of me not dying, which just goes to show you like how beneficial this can be. And with Ronan specifically, like I should have been, especially on these long islands and stuff like that, I was busy talking about, I should have been rotating out his rage, getting him more rage where I can. Not that we really needed it, but it is a good idea. So you see how it can benefit you to either, with Ronan, like you can set up your immunity. With Axii, you can use Elemental Bubble. You can use Entrap. There are lots of these disabling type spells or shields or things that hunters have that can keep you slowed down, flying slowly, and allow you to build back your rage, build back your hunter ammo. Let's do, like I said, I want to do one attack where I show you kind of the trouble you can get into when you just fly really quickly. So let's look for another pretty long base. We are in the middle of the fortification event, which is why things are like all over the place. We have 300s at 500 million, 500 million defense power and stuff like that. It just is a matter of fortification event. People don't have their main riders on, and all sorts of things. Okay, so this is a decent example. Let's see if we can show this off really well. So I'm gonna fly really quickly through this short base. I'm not gonna take a lot of time to let my spells reset. I'm gonna just try and kill everything as fast as possible, and you'll see how as I come into his main kill island, basically empty, and at least that's what I'm expecting is going to happen. So let's go do this. All right, his first long island has a bunch of mages, so let's get rid of those. We're going to set up execute. We're going to use execute on this first island. All right, and there's execute. We'll entrap. Entrap actually got blocked by the got blocked by the explosion, so that's part of the trouble. Okay, we have execute back up. We have about half our hunter ammo, and we got through the first part. But look here, we basically didn't have much. We could have flipped our resist to avoid taking the fire flak damage. I could have done that better. But even though we entrapped this back part, we didn't entrap the end. We were kind of just low on rage and low on damage. So even though we got the first 3 towers down, it ended up biting us later because we spent so much going into it. So flying slowly is really, really important. It's one of the key hunter tips that I give to people as we as I talk to them about flying hunters and trying to fly smartly, specifically on bigger bases than you would normally think you're able to hit. I really hope this helped you. We'll be planning on coming out with some other hunter videos talking about a couple other different techniques or principles that I use when flying hunters and that I try to think about as I go about flying hunters over the next couple weeks or so. Make sure to like this video, make sure to subscribe. I really appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to watch this. Have a good one, and I will see you later. Peace.